This week on the Dance Dad with John Corella podcast, I will be giving dance competition tips. The competition season has started, and I know you dance moms and dance dads would love some tips for yourself and for your kid who competes. But first, make sure you go to patreon.com, the only dance dad with John Corella, and join for free for more free content, behind the scenes pictures, videos, dance tips, as well as our monthly Zoom calls for us bold, fierce people. So you all ready to be bold and be fierce? Please welcome to the stage, John Corella. Well, hello, you all. It's John. And John, it's just me this episode. Are you all okay with that? I actually heard recently from the people that produce Dance Dad with John Corella. They said that sometimes you all just want to hear me. So I'm doing a solo, and solos can feel scary, especially when you're staring at yourself in the computer. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being here at Dance Dad with John Corella. And we're going to have fun today. I have my Truly in my wine glass, and it's nighttime. Usually I record in the day with guests, people that are on it. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to be bold and fierce. And I'm here to serve you and to help all of you dance moms. So that's what this podcast is going to be about, helping you dance moms, dance dads, and dancers, this specific episode. And just kind of some ranting. I recently listened to Bill Burr's podcast, and he does it by himself. And he's obviously hilarious. And I think I'm funny. I don't think I'm hilarious. But, I was like, oh, it's not as scary as I thought. So I actually feel okay. Plus, I have my Truly. So let's start off with the 4 questions. How am I feeling? I am feeling very calm and tired. It's daylight savings over here. We just moved it on the West Coast. So I'm a little tired, but calm. And where do I feel it? I feel it in my eyes. If all of you are on camera, you can see my eyes are pretty, they're pretty bad. And what is it saying? Okay, it's saying to remind you all about the Patreon. I forgot to say that. So I have monthly calls, meetings on Patreon now. If you are a bold member, where we discuss the podcast episodes from the month prior. And I talk about what I've learned, what you've learned. I'll take some questions at the end. There's no cameras, no videos. So, you might get some tea, some dance mom's tea, some dance world tea, some tea. So that's what it saying. But make sure you join at Patreon, the only dance dad with John Corella. And also, if you don't want to come to the meeting, you can just join for free and see all the great content stuff that I have there that I'm sharing with you. Photos from dance moms, photos from dance jobs, some videos, some behind the scenes, on camera videos. So that's what that. What I said, did I say what color it was? It is color. What color is it? I guess it's black. That's kind of odd. I normally don't pick black. It is black. And that, you know what it's saying. So, hey, maybe it's black with some rhinestones at the top. Hear that? My ASMR. So some dance moms questions, tips, and I will answer some questions. Some of you submitted questions at the end or on Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram. So I'm going to answer some of those, but let's just get right down to it. It's competition season. So how are y'all feeling? I know I can get exhausted at dance competitions. I love potato skins the day of dance competitions. I love Jack in the Box. I love all the food you shouldn't love as someone who's teaching dance. And I'm sure you dance moms do too. Now, those of you dancers, obviously, hey, maybe you do eat that. But I think it's just kind of good to put into perspective this world that we are in, this dance world of dance competitions, that we are literally at an airport. We're at an airport hotel with rhinestones and makeup. This is not the Olympics, FYI. Now, I will say, I understand because some of these kids go on to be, I mean, look at Tate McRae. She's from dance competitions, Britney Spears, Carmen Electra. Who else? Those are the ones off the top of my head that I can think of that were in dance. Allison Porter. So, these kids are very talented, but we're here to learn. We're here to have fun. It is not the Olympics. There is no legit gold medal. So let's remember that to keep it in perspective, all of us. So some things that I'm going to give you how I usually approach dance competitions is for me as a teacher, and maybe you as moms and dads can do, is if I'm feeling nervous, I stay completely away from the kid who is dancing. I remember when I had a dance company and I had a bunch of numbers, I would feel nervous. I would not even go around them because I knew if I was around them and I was talking to them, they were going to feel my nerves and it might come out wrong. It might come out short and they might be concerned that I'm nervous. That happened actually when I had a meeting for dance moms. The guy that I went with for the meeting, I remember he was nervous and walking in. He didn't say he was nervous, but he seemed nervous when we were trying to sell the show. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to be nervous? And then I got nervous. So that's kind of what fear can do if you're not super grounded. So moms, if you're feeling nervous, stay away. These are all my opinion. This is why people pay me to coach their children, to teach. This is what I tell them. So I'm now telling it to you all. Stay away. Now, even in the car ride there, create a calm environment because what these kids are doing is intense. There's hardly any adult that could do it. And if they can, they're doing it for money. So keep the car ride calm. Not a lot of questions. Just a good space for the kid to feel whatever they want to feel. So then when you get there, how I do it, what I like to do is, depending on the age, I enjoy teaching minis and juniors. So they're still kind of navigating, learning how to warm up, how to stay focused. So I'm going to pretty much talk about that. So, when you go into the competition, again, be nice. Let's all be nice to everybody. Doesn't seem like that at times. I was recently at a competition. I won't say the name of it. And backstage, the other person teaching was not nice. No claps, none of that. So, it can feel intense, the energy. But when we walk in and we bless everyone, that's the energy we're bringing in. So you give your dancer off to the teacher, the choreographer, call time. Another thing, I'm a big believer in getting there way early. So I'm that way in general, even now if I'm working on something or performing myself, I try and get there early. I think Justin Wyrick even talked about that. I think he gets to Wicked like an hour before everyone else. So, my personality, and I think kids should in general get there at least 2 hours before their number's on. So if their number's on at 1:30, get there at 11:30. Get there. And get there with your hair done, your and warm-ups. Everything's done. Your makeup's done. No lipstick yet. And if you're a guy, hey, maybe you do wear lipstick. Do it. The day and age, everyone, just do what you want to do. But if you don't have to do all that, or you do that, make sure that's your makeup's done, your hair's done. Go moms, go get real estate. I know that real estate is real lethal in that I'm not allowed, and I don't go into the girls' dressing room, but I can only imagine. So go there. And then, this is what I would say to the moms is maybe have something else for you to do. Because I know if we put our attention just on focusing on your kid or what are they doing, that you yourself can get nervous. So what I would say is, do something yourself. Go have breakfast, go get coffee, be close by in case we need you. But at that point, this is another thing. The dancing is not going to change. Though I always say the week before the solo, it is not going to change. It is what it is. What we can change is our attitude and our mental state. So that can change the day of. But as far as it can feel nervous, it can feel scary, it can feel like the Olympics, it can feel like Vegas, a roller coaster. But go do something. Hey, if it's evening, go to the bar. That's totally fine. Just, 2-drink minimum before your kid gets on stage. I love how I said before. Just, you know what I mean? Just have a nice drink. So get there early. And then the kid's going to warm up. So I don't know how differently teachers do it, but I like to I believe dancers dance better, warm and sweaty. I used to dance good like that. Not overly rehearsed, not going over the solo a lot, but warm and sweaty, meaning because then you just dance better, and your body is safer out there. Because on stage, you throw more, you throw things that you normally wouldn't. You kick harder, you jump harder, so you want to make sure your body's really warm. So we go through that. We go through something that I call jazz bar. I like good, whether it's a bar, ballet, warm your feet up, warm your back up, everything. Now, even before that, what I do is I take dancers around the arena. Could you imagine if dance competitions were in an arena? They probably could be. I bet you that'll happen one day. The theater, the convention center, wherever you're at. I learned this actually from Lisa Metzel, who I had on the podcast. You can all listen to that. It's last season. To walk around and just look at your space. Really, what? Actually, maybe I didn't learn this from her. I think I learned it from Alexander Technique, which was on the previous episode. Danny and I talked about, where you kind of you just familiarize with the area. Most of the time we do know these spaces, but still good. Things change. Where's the stage? Where's the restroom? Look at the lights. Look at the ground. Look at the wall. Sounds funny. Sounds a little culty, but it keeps us present and it gets us familiar. Look at people in the eyes. Teachers, do this too. Moms and dads, do this too. This is going to help you as well. Yes, the kid is dancing, but if we're teaching, if we're choreographing, we feel nervous for our stuff going out there for the dancer. Moms and dads, you are just as nervous, if not more sometimes. So do this. Look at people, say hi, connect. Find out where, just get comfortable with your space. Go walk around. I even take them, if the competition isn't down, I take them by the judges' table. Like, it's just a table. It's not that dramatic. Look at the stage. Let's go backstage. So I do that usually before the warm up. Then we start warming up. And then you've done your warm up, do your core if you're turning. And those of you moms, if you want, get that turning board. It just reminds me of like Sophia Lucia or back in the day, early 2000s dance competition showbiz, that turning board. You pull it out. That means you're hardcore. So you use that to work on your turns. So bring that as well too. Then after that, I go through the solo. So I go through the solo. What I do is I will have the dancer do each technique 3 times each. So let's say you start off with the bomb mom. You do that bomb mom 3 times. Let's say the next technique is a triple pirouette. You do a triple pirouette 3 times. Now this is the trick, especially with turns and acro. If you don't hit it, you don't hit it. You don't keep doing it over and over again. That's it. You get 3 times because, like I said before, it's not going to change. That's what's exciting about dance competitions. For me, remember that ABC show or that commercial, like the agony of defeat and the thrill of victory? And it was this guy doing a ski like slope thing. It was just, it's like that's what can get our adrenaline going. That's why I love competition. I know some people don't because of that, but I do. Let me take a little sip of my Truly. So because I have another story, I love stories in gymnastics. Shawn Johnson, before she won her gold medal on beam, her coach was saying in the gym, in the warm-up gym, before they went out in front of probably millions of people, live television, she was not hitting her full on the beam. She missed it. And he was like, well, we got to go. Like, you're up. And then she hit it and she won the gold. So there's only so much control we have. When we start to control too much, it's all about that element of control. Fight or flight especially comes up in all of us. Dance teachers, kids, moms, dads, fight or flight. Where that feeling is going to be there of fight or flight. That's kind of the fun part. It's just, let's not do anything with it. We just let it be there. So you go through everything 3 times. Then with music, I have them do it 3 times. Now, this is another thing. I'm giving all the dance tips. I like to have dancers ready to dance 10 numbers before. Completely. They don't know that. But I want their mind, I want them focused. I want their bodies warm. I want that number to have been ran 3 times, 10 numbers before. So now is when we run the numbers. Another thing too, moms and dads, is be close by enough for an emergency, especially for those minis and juniors. But what will help this go through is trust. The more you trust your teacher, your kid's teacher, your teacher's choreographer, the child will feel that and trust them as well too. Now, trust it's a process. It is not it's almost a feeling, it's something that we're constantly working on. So of course, at times doubt comes up of who we're with all around, vice versa. So it's not 100% thing, but I really want to encourage that because, and if you don't trust your teacher, go find another one. That's the thing too. You can always go find another one. It just make for that teacher to take that kid to the best level. Trust needs to, or doesn't need to be involved, but when trust is there, they can completely fly. So they've run it 3 times with music. Okay. Now put their lipstick on. I like lipstick later so it doesn't get on the costume. And quickly quickly. I'm going to say that quickly because obviously, usually the moms are doing it at this time. Let's get it done as quickly as possible. Give your kid a nice little dance mom pep talk. However you do, that's your moment, and your time to connect with your child. And then I take the dancer backstage. So also another thing, make sure they know their number, because some of us have a lot of numbers, so we don't know them as teachers. Make sure they know their number, 527. Make sure they have earbuds. You can get cheap earbuds on Amazon for $19. And a way to listen to their music on a device. They take that with them. So then as we go backstage, I have them kind of get into their own world and start doing it with their earbuds by themselves, to give them that own space to just hear that music over and over again. This also too is, sometimes if a kid is getting super nervous, I like them to go watch, because sometimes most of the time their friends are performing, kind of calms them down. They can see their peers. This is strictly for solos. Solos are intense because it's me, like right now, like I'm just talking to you. It's just a 9-year-old girl on stage or boy. So, they are so brave and bold to do that. I mean, that's another thing. When I see these kids out there, I saw this girl at this last competition and she got, froze on stage. She forgot her number. She definitely forgot her number and just stopped and ran off crying. And I just had so much love for this kid. One, that's a fear that I have at times still as an adult. It's something we've all been through. It's like kind of like a rite of passage. And just what a win for that kid. I would throw a party for her because she failed in front of everybody, and how brave, how amazing. So, this is tough stuff. And these kids are doing some just, I want to say, spiritual things out there. They're really tapping into these amazing parts of themselves and flying out there. So, moms, now you're in the audience. I don't know too much what you're doing 10 numbers before. Maybe some of you are praying. Maybe some of you are drinking. Maybe you're just sitting there. Who knows? Breathe. That's all I'm going to say. So also too, so then once they've listened to their music a couple times, I'll have them just keep their bodies warm. So do jumps, do the jump that's in their solo, do the acro that's in their solo, just those little pieces. Then as the number gets closer, I kind of let them know, like, you got 5 numbers. Kind of sounds like when I got an MRI, when they were like, you have 10 minutes, you have 5 minutes. So it's like, okay, here it comes. So as you slowly get down to him or her dancing, I'm kind of letting them know, like, okay, it's getting, you got 5 numbers. Okay. You got 3 numbers. When it's 3 numbers, they know the ones I teach. I don't like them to watch the number before. You got to focus. Beyonce is not, let me say this. Well, Jennifer Lopez was watching Shakira, which I thought was weird right before she went out. But before you're going out on stage, you are not watching the next performer. You're getting in your zone mentally, what the story's about, breathing, trying to be calm, not trying to be calm, but doing things to calm you, because we don't want to be too calm, because then we don't care out there. So I'll have them, recently I had a girl lie down on the floor right before. It was like, what? I'm supposed to be jumping. No, you're fine. You're warm. Just lie there. Just get present. So then, also too, what I do as a teacher is I have them plan out their solo already prior because stages are different. So we'll go and look at the stage and say, okay, I'm going to start my solo there. I'm going to probably do the turn there, and I'm going to end there, and then go back there. So the solo is on the stage. When they're young, I stay off to the side. Maybe near the end of the season, I'll go watch in the front, but usually I stay in the wings. I used to know this one teacher. She didn't want to go in the audience because she didn't want to be around the parents or the dance moms. So she would literally just hang out in the back. And those of you who are listening, who I know who listen, are probably know who she is. So I like to, but sometimes I'll ask too when I feel they're ready. I'll say, "Is it or can I sit in the front, or where do you want me to sit?" Because we're there to help them. That is why we are there, to help. Also, too, studio owners, pay your teacher to be there. This is not a part of their job. Pay them for their time. Okay, remember that. Pay them for their time to be there. Rightfully so. We put so much of our mental, emotional into these kids, and we don't have to, but we do. So pay them. That's another thing. I hope they're paying more. They weren't when I was first starting off. Forgive, John. Forgive. So I sometimes I can breathe, sometimes I can't breathe. I'm kind of a yeller when the kid's dancing because I just want them to hear and feel good, and I just enjoy it. Also, too, dancers. So the number was done. Take a few beats. You're doing Schindler's List. I don't know. Everyone did Schindler's List when I was younger. Not everyone, but a lot of people. So let's say let's pick another number. You're doing I Will Always Love You. You're done. Oh my God, I'm so dating myself. Hold your pose for 3 seconds. It feels like an eternity. It is not. 1, 2, 3. Also, stay in character. I saw this girl. She won Dancer of the Year. Beautiful dancer. Technique wise. Didn't know what the number was about. You could tell too, because she finished in her end pose and she smiled and nodded like it was a jazz solo and walked off. And so don't finish your number emotionally till you're way off in the wings. So you do that. Also, look at the judges. Don't be scary about it. Look at the judges. And also look at the audience. It's not just we're not just there for the judges. We're also impacting people that are in the audience. Remember that. I saw a post today that said, know that your art is affecting people no matter if you get rewarded. That goes for everybody. That girl who ran off stage, I remember her more than the girl who won because of how that inspired me and reminded me of what these kids are doing and how brave and bold they are. So, yes, look at the judges. We don't want to be afraid of them. Stay away from the winking, please. It's inappropriate. No winking. And sometimes we can't see out there because it's black, but some of them the lights are up. But just, give. We're there to give. So then you're done. Now, this is another thing. This is something that I've noticed too. It hasn't happened much, but as teachers, we want to feel validated too. So even after the solo is done, dancers, yes, you go to your parents, but it's validate your teachers because we have put so much work into this to get you on stage, some of you. all of you, actually. So I would say, let's keep it a family, a community thing. You do your solo, you're good. Go do whatever. Have potato skins, depending on where awards are. Have some sugar. You deserve it. Do it. If you have another solo, that's a whole nother thing. And yeah, we'll talk about that another time. The holding of solos. And it used to be real strategic back in the day. Maybe it still is with people, probably at competitions only. No, it probably still is with some. I know some dance studio owners who would do those games. So then another thing for awards, I'm a big believer, no matter how you do, stay. Stay, because people remember, the judges, the teachers, and your peers remember when you stay, regardless of how you performed. I like them to wear their studio warm up, look presentable up there. It's not a pajama party. Again, these are all my opinions. I'm allowed to have them. So this is what I like, look presentable, because some of these people, they'll hire you for a job, So if you want to get real strategic, get something the color of your costume. You know what I'm going to say this actually, and it's okay. I don't care. Sometimes if it's a convention and there's a lot of kids and solos are on Friday and your solo is red, and I would wear red in scholarships, because I've been on the other side and you can't remember. We can, because we're so self-absorbed and we think everyone is thinking about us, even our numbers that we made up. They're not, but they remember. So that's another little dance tip is wear your same color for scholarships, because they'll remember. They'll be like, oh, that was I Will Always Love You in purple, and here she is in purple now. Wear the same hair. I know as they get older, they want to start changing their hair up, but these are all things you're going to learn and use as you get older and even go to auditions. Doesn't change. It's not as tight, but you still do some of it. Okay. So awards happen. You do great. Everyone's happy. Awesome. Congratulate people. And I would say go up to that girl that forgot. We've all been there. This is for dancers and moms. We know we can feel uncomfortable, but just go up to them. And no matter who, congratulate everyone, not just the people who win. Because somebody wins in March and doesn't win in April. That's how it goes. Unless you're Paula Van Oppen. Talked about her in another podcast in the future. So also break. So now the next week, take a break. Don't go to dance the next day unless it's a convention, but relax. There's no need. You've done a lot. Even before, I feel when people start to get a bunch of privates before, they're cramming, and it makes, when I've crammed for tests, I would get more nervous. I wouldn't do well. So that's for before and after. So those are a little bit of the tips. How long have I been talking? Wow. I think I've actually been talking 30 minutes. It's kind of crazy. I mean, we all kind of talk to ourselves anyway, but I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you dance moms, you kids, you dads. You're all in front of me. I'm at the Burbank Marriott. Now I want a Starbucks. So let's see. Here was some questions that we had. Who is my favorite dance mom? Okay, that obviously meant for dance moms. And that was from Matt Kokingda sent from Instagram. Thank you, Matt. So, look, in the words of a spiritual text I read, Course in Miracles, all of us are special. None of us are special. I will tell you my favorite, a dance teacher's favorite dance mom globally is one who trusts us and who just trusts us. Now, we can't trust every dance teacher, but I'm talking about myself, and knows that I want them to do well. I want their dance to become great and them to be emotionally and physically healthy. So that's and one who validates. It's nice to feel validated, not just financially, but just like, thank you. Like, what you do is hard. What we do is hard. And these kids go on and do great things, which is amazing. Let's see. What was another question? Favorite project I worked on? That's not really about dance competitions, but hey, might as well. I would say probably the Oscars. That's the one that's coming up. Again, all of them are special, but there's something great about performing in front of a billion people live. Like I said, something scary and exhilarating at the same time. And also too, I worked with Danny Ezerlo, who was, he had a dance company. So it was very contemporary, and it was a really good time. Jennifer Lopez introduced us. So yeah, I always tell people shows like that just feel like you're at a high school show when you're there. It's really not that different. There's just cameras. I recently was at the DGA Awards and it felt like I was at a wedding. So, okay. So I think that's probably, I think you all got something out of that. This one's going to be a little bit short, but it's really going to be, we're in competition season, and know that solos get better. And they, like I said, sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't. So I like solos to compete or peak in the summertime, like May, June. That's where they peak. Similar to gymnastics, they don't like them to peak early on because then they're at nationals and they don't make the team. So slow and steady, and think about what worked, what didn't, and why after each competition, and reward yourself. When I grew up, it was like, okay, you did that, move on. What's the next thing? Okay, you did that, move on. I think when we're so busy, we can't sit in it. Even the kids that dance, they move on so quickly to the next competition or the next class, and they can't feel the pride of what they did, or their body can't get it, their nervous system, their emotion, their mind. So know that. And you can always, if you have questions, DM, I guess, slide in the DMs. Join Patreon. I give a dance tip once a month, pretty much around that. And just keep listening. I have some really good podcasts coming up with some teachers that I taught with. We have some past ones. I mean, just some really good stuff that I'm enjoying. And I hope you are. And I know you are. I got a really great text regarding Brian Recker's podcast from a former guy who competes. So I know you all are hearing, and I just actually, and ironically, this doesn't feel that weird. So weird, me looking at myself talking. Is that weird? Maybe I'm weird. But I think that's it. So I want to just say thank you all for listening and watching Dance Dad with John Corella. Our show comes out every Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can search for Dance Dad with John Corella on all podcast platforms. And please make sure to follow and download so you don't miss an episode. Download really helps keep this going, everyone. And you can subscribe to Dance Dad with John Corella on the YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. And then I talked about this earlier. You can sign up and become a member on Patreon at The Only Dance Dad with John Corella. It's free. And I now have all the on-camera footage is free. So you can go there and see us on Patreon, our faces. And you can be a part of this bold, fierce community. You already are. So thank you for listening and pray. Yes, how could I forget that? Pray before you go on stage. Pray. Let something bigger work through you. All the greats do that. All right. Be bold, be fierce. Thank you so much for listening to Dance Dad with John Corella. Thank you to everyone at Hivecast for all that you do. And if this episode meant something to you, please share it and subscribe. Also, you can follow Dance Dad with John Corella on all platforms. But most importantly, remember to be bold and be fierce.